by the way, happy Women's Day, ma'am.
Women's Day too. Since morning, I've been just rushing from after my rehearsals, which started at 8 o'clock. Then
Mm.
after that, rushing from one Women's Day function to another.
Yeah. So what is it that keeps you going, after all these years? What is it that's still actually driving your passion?
Well, I love what I'm doing. I just love what I do. And I love exploring. I
Mm.
love learning. I love I love dancing.
So, in today's cultural landscape, why do you think revisiting Tagore and figures like Kadambari remains important for understanding modern Indian consciousness and probably
Think of it,
artistic identity?
first of all, Tagore. Let's go back. Today we're talking about an integrated education system.
Yeah.
That is buzzword today. But it was always there in our scripture. We may have forgotten about it, but in contemporary times, as early as 1916, Tagore had started it. What was a Shanti Niketan? It
Yeah.
was integrated learning. It was, so everything. Kalashetra came much later, 16 years later. But it was Tagore and the family, and where philosophy, be it any form of education, and the performing arts and arts were all linked, interlinked, breathing the ethos and echo of what we have, what in Vishnu Dharmottar Puran we have said, and and then today we're coming back to it. We are making it a formalized kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that is number one. Number two, there's a great event like today. We are talking about toilet for girls, the girl child, education for the girl child. Those are all these modern day concepts, etc.
Mm.
Excellent, which means we have, but Tagore started it. Women and the influence of women, talking about women. So that whole genre, that era, whether it was Sharat Chandra Bandyopadhyay, whether it was Bankim, whether it was Maithili, Sharon Gop, whether it was Tagore, of course, earlier because, so then they all spoke about it. And the importance of the women, they said that, and they showed her as a woman of strength and character, not the wiggly,
Yeah.
weak-kneed women, but women of substance and character. And so I think those are the old concepts which today's landscape, we are still talking about the same things. And so we are revisiting, but actually there was a lot of work that had already been done. Today, you are frozen. Young lady, you are frozen.
No, actually, you are frozen. My screen is looking better. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I think then both of us are frozen for each other. Uh, like today, I was attending the Sulabh thing now of Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak. Now, as early as the late 60s or to the 70s, the gentleman had started Toilet for All. Basically, because he saw women had to hold on, they would not drink water, they would not eat, because then going to the toilet. So he started the Sulabh Sauchalaya.
Mm.
Now we are talking about it and making it a, mandate. But he started the movement all on his own. So I think, there are lots of things people have done so much. It's good to revisit them and, to remember that the seeds had been sown. We as society tend to forget.
Mm.
We reinvent the wheel, but it was there. It
That's
is in,
true.
and I think we need to have the spirit of gratitude, which we are today's generation is fast losing. sense of historicity and gratitude.
Yeah, right. So what is Kadambari all about, your production Kadambari? Tell us about that.
It's all about his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Sister-in-law, he was nearly, I think, 7 years old.
Mm,
And his sister-in-law was married to his elder brother, Jyotindra Nath Tagore, and was about 10, 12 years older than his wife. So Kadambari she came into the Tagore household as a 9-year-old child.
mm,
And so it was a loveless marriage. She was always hankering for her husband's attention,
mm,
but he was too busy to, and he would also go and play with her dolls, etc., etc. And so she was all so, and Tagore understood her loneliness. They became the best of buddies. So, and Tagore would confide in her. He would take her as his confidant. So they became the best of buddies. When she encouraged him to write, but the one thing, her husband encouraged her to be educated. So she was, and her parents were also so she was educated. So her love for literature, etc.
mm,
In she kept on telling. So when his maiden efforts, she would encourage him. And then she gave him the nickname also, Robi. Like Rabindranath is Ravi, Surya. So she called him Ravi,
mm,
Surya.
mm,
And then she called him Bhanu. So that is why his first maiden efforts all said Bhanu Shinge Podabali, because Bhanu means the sun.
yeah.
So she gave him that nickname. And he would call her as Hecate, the one with the mysterious lady who'd always died. So she became his confidant, his mentor, his sounding board, and his muse. And he was witness to her repeated setbacks.
Mm,
The fact that she was always hankering for her husband's attention, never received it. Then she had her favorite niece. So the niece died, and she was directly blamed for it. So that also pushed her.
mm,
So, and everything, and then also, there were so many, one setback after the other, and she was not looked upon well by the ladies of the household, because
mm,
she came not of the same standard of family.
mm,
And so, and then I think the last straw was that even when Tagore got married, and then so she said, no, even that a person that she could confide her troubles in now had other attentions. Obviously his attention is distracted, etc.
mm,
And then she took her life. And when she took her life, her death was hushed up. And things went back to normal as though nothing had happened, as though she had never existed.
mm,
So I think all these things hurt Tagore, and he could never get over it. And so indirectly, in fact, after her death, he says, in a way, he was freed of the suffering and pain that he was witness to the whole time,
yeah.
and but yet he was always there. She was always with him. So,
Yeah. So,
I
because, yeah.
it's a question of searching for oneself.
Mm, mm,
In somebody, I see somebody who's searching for her identity, for herself, for a mere, and what does she want? The husband's attention. And so, which she never. So I think in a way, if you look at society today, we have many strong women, extremely strong women who live life on their own terms. Yet, she represents the vast majority. There's still a vast majority of women who could be economically independent, who could be extremely educated, but yet
Yeah.
mentally they are still, you know, I would say not as empowered mentally.
Mm.
But yes, education wise, yes. But in spite of all the two, which we think are yardsticks for being very independent, self-sufficient woman, but that's not enough. The mental strength also needs to be there. The mental
Absolutely. Absolutely.
take the example of the vast majority of women
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think things have not really progressed in that way? I mean, I was thinking if it is easier for women of today to handle setbacks and probably, challenges than it was before. So, but like you rightly said and pointed out, a vast majority is still battling it. So nothing has changed.
Don't think that change. I don't know. I will not. I would hesitate to put it down in terms of percentage because India's population is too large, and so I'm not going to put it. But I would say that. So I said even though we have progressed a lot, I think we have far number of ladies and men. Let's not forget the men. We'll not blame them always because even a lot of men support the ladies. Of course,
Mm.
there are men who are completely different, but so they are economically independent. They can take professions of that they would like to, but yet there is still I'm saying in spite of this increasing, very visible increased numbers, yet under the garb of all the education and under the garb of all, I still find many of them saying, "Oh, I could not do it because my so and so did not want me to do it. I could not do it." So I always think that perhaps there was something that either the fire in them, the drive in them was not so much, or or there was some lack of something, or whatever it is. I don't know. There was something. It could be genuine reason, but it also could be a self-imposed restriction.
Yeah.
Self-imposed restriction born out of tradition. Yeah. So, but it could also be extremely genuine. There are many very, very genuine. But so I would hate to put numbers or percentages to it. But yes, visible number of people who have done fabulous and broken glass ceilings. Women have really broken glass ceilings. But yet we still have a large number who are uh,
Yeah.
dithering on the borders.
Yeah. Right. So, how do you keep a classical form like Kathak relevant for younger audiences today, considering their attention span is so limited? So, tell me, how do you keep it still relevant and
I've always found that if anything touches their heart, they get hooked on. It is
that's
how
true.
you say. So, but if it touches their heart and it makes you, irrespective of the fact that it could be classical or whatever it is, I mean, you don't have to make it so top heavy, that way.
Yeah,
But and
yeah,
neither you have to make it. You have to should cater to the gallery, that they like this, so you just give them lollipops and toffees, though, because that is what they like. Uh,
yeah,
but uh, but I find that if you approach them uh, and it hits their heart, I've always found the audience extremely, extremely receptive, whether it is a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old, and particularly the 15-year-olds, those teenagers and the young 20s, it is that. But I found them extremely. They're hooked on. They start looking at it like this, and they come back. Man, we had goosebumps. We had goosebumps. We were weeping. We had tears in our eyes. So when
So has the feedback, the way people give you feedback changed over the years? Like, do they, watch classical dance differently than they used to earlier? Because
that yes, it has. In the way earlier, if as you would have heard, because you belong to the young
no,
generation.
no, I don't belong to the young generation. I am 47. Yeah.
Well, I'm soon going to be, well, I'm 75 and a half. In another 5 months, I'll complete 76.
Okay.
So, well, I would say that earlier, you would have heard that in those days, people would, every performance of ours, solo, would last for 2 hours, 3 hours, three and a
Yeah.
half hours, 4 hours. Come on, today, if they say a good solo performance for 1 hour, we say, wow, you've given us 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
well, it is usually 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Come on, that was the time in those days so it was that is the attention span. So
Mhm.
what, say for example, an ala, which used to be meditative, etc. Now from that length, it's become like this. So everything has to be capsuled.
Yeah.
So I don't compromise on anything. The only thing I compromise is in the stretching part of it. I just capsule it to that length but I do everything.
Mm. Yeah.
And, and it's how you present it. I always say that it's a question of presentation. The same um, the same delicacies that you might get in a roadside dhaba will cost you X amount. But in a high seven-star restaurant or in a five-star restaurant, it is presented in such a manner that where you shell out 10 times more and the portion is much smaller. And
True,
then you
true.
say, how delectable.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, I mean, you said you had to capsule it, and of course, I mean, without it losing a gist, you have to make sure that the gist is always there. But what's the
Always.
most, yeah. So, what's the most challenging emotion to portray to Kathak?
I find that the youth of today are more into the foot tapping and kind of a thing.
Mm,
So they would like to see as many spins as possible, as much of footwork as possible. And so, as I said, I like to present a balanced, even in my traditional things, very balanced amount of nritya ang. So, and I find that if you do it well, you have them with you. They are journeying with you. They come along on the journey with you to wherever you. So I, they're not bad. The youngsters are not. Uh, they are sensitive human beings.
of course.
They are. So it is a question of how to approach that. If you feed them only X, Y, Z, what they want is completely different. But if you give them in a nice way what is meant for the soul, they are receptive. I found them receptive. I've always found them receptive.
Yeah. So, what's that one misconception people often have about the classical dance? Because you have
Oh,
various art forms right now.
we don't understand, because it's nothing. And I won't say that it is it's their fault because they've not been, it's strange to them.
Yeah.
Because uh, they haven't grown up with it. It's not there in the atmosphere around. Some households might have it in their homes,
Mm.
part of it. But more often than not, it is something that we hear about it as something exotic. No, we cannot understand. It is something that is, we cannot understand. Anything that we cannot understand
Yeah.
is like that. So I think it is that atmosphere we have created. See, the media today, whether it's the print media or the electronic media, where does the classical music and dance play a role? Where the how many informed and sort of discussions are there on in the media today, whichever form? Not much. It's so whatever is given to them, for them that exists.
Yeah.
What is not part of the daily, it does not exist. So it's keep it away. I mean, we don't understand it. Keep it away.
Yeah. True. So, I mean, like you said, capsulate and customize it to you tailor the performance to
No,
suit
no,
people.
it is because of the paucity of time. If I'm given my 2 hours, I would do
That
exactly
is
this.
true. Yes.
But if I'm given 40 minutes, then or 1 hour, then my 2 hour things will have to be obviously put into that 40
Right.
minutes or 1 hour.
Right. But then, even training must have changed, right? The way you train and they receive. Like people who have the aspiring dancers who come to you. How has the concept of guru changed from then to now?
Uh, I don't think in spirit it has changed much because even in our time, let me tell you, I'm talking about the 50s and 60s.
Mm.
I heard it at that time. Can you understand Hindi, Rashmi ji?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So I would hear, अरे हमारे जमाने में आजकल के बच्चे इन लोगों को टाइम ही कहाँ है वो क्या सो वी वर ऑल्सो
Yeah. At
this
the
generation
receiving end.
next generation that generation will say of the next generation so that is point thing but having said that even in amongst all of us who were learning we were that many. I'm looking at the frame and telling you, okay, we were that many.
Mm.
How many of us today in the field? Just 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that we were that many. And I think the same is true today.
Mm.
And then the guru-shishya, the so-called guru-shishya parampara. We are talking about the guru-shishya parampara. Now we are talking about something in olden days, Ramayana time, Mahabharata time. They went and lived with their gurus in their ashram.
Yeah.
And so it was a kind of a boarding school.
Mm.
Okay. So they were there the whole time. So they were not learning archery the whole day or performing music or dance the whole day, but they were, it was lived, the time allotments were there, but they were in that atmosphere, imbibing the ethos and the spirit
Mm.
of how the guru is thinking, how what is the way of life, and even the way, the values, etc., of conducting yourself, etc. In, I mean, soon after that, nobody has the space or the time. Where is the space today that you will have? So people come for some time. So, and then they learn for that limited number of hours, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and then they go away. But what is important is honesty on side of both the Shishya and the Guru.
Mm.
That what you're imparting, one is the skill part of it, but in the Guru Shishya Parampara, along with the skill, what is important is also the ethos, the spirit, of the dance. There's something intangible about, that artistry, that spirit of the art.
Yeah.
That has to be also transmitted. Otherwise, you'll be a good craftsman, but you want them to. So, artist is something different, beyond the craftsmanship. Everybody can be skilled craftsperson. I think to that extent, even in spite of the modern day, constraints, the modern life's constraints of space, of time, because it's also equally important for them to, because now you have different institutions for learning your economics or physics or sociology or something and coming to learn. Earlier, it was all rolled into one, but now it is different. So, but I find that amongst the lot who start off, there is this small band who still carry with them that spirit, who actually, along with the technical skill, learning to imbibe the spirit and ethos. It'll be a small number, but it first don't matter. It is the quality which matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, there is a sizable population, I mean, probably who's like really still passionate about reviving or probably preserving this art form. But what do you think is stopping people who would have otherwise come? Is it because, they don't get, I mean, you can't make a career out of it. Do you think dancers get their due today?
They will get their due if we create an environment right from childhood, and should start from home, that music and dance, that classical music dance is an important aspect of your life. If it is supposed to be an entertainment, then it's a different approach. But if you take it as something much beyond entertainment, if you look at the Natya Shastra also, it says the quality of response and the quality of the audience and the reception. So what I mean, that it is up to the artist and people themselves. And that is somewhere in chapter 22, 23, or 24, something around that. This thing. It says that if you want to, how many types of response? There'll be a type of response where people are stamping their feet, clapping away, making loud noises, and tearing their clothes out. There will be another kind of a response, silence, looking at it, and something comes from the heart.
Yeah.
So it says, these are the two kinds of responses. So one is a Lokik response and one is a Devik response. One is more on the spiritual side, the response, and one is on the entertainment side response.
Yeah.
So that is up to both the artist and what the others want. So an artist with his artistry can make the Lokik into a Devik response.
True. Absolutely. So one last question, ma'am. Any message to people who are actually wanting to get into dance, the young dancers who want to join?
They should get into dance, because I think dance, I'm looking at today, let's see what are their aspirations. They want to make money and name, to be global citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think if they understand that their shortcuts won't get them much. It'll give them short term, and then they're all saying, we are so stressed out. We want peace. They're searching for peace, and they're always saying we're stressed out. We are burnt out, stressed out. I think COVID was a beautiful example that it was the artists who were the least burnt out of the lot, who were the least affected of the lot, but in the mental and
Sense of,
psychological,
yeah, yeah.
because they creative avenues, their creativity. Because so I would the two things that you do take to dance, because it allows you to be rooted,
Mm,
because it gives you firm foundation. And if you have firm foundation, the plant that grows bears much more fruit. You're able to weather all storms.
mm,
And secondly, you are able, and so your personality develops in a very different way. Number one. Number two, you are a global citizen. It's not that you become a very museum piece or something. No way. I mean, you have examples of everyone becoming, a Pandit Ravi Shankar or Renal Rakha or Ilya Raja or Zakir Hussain,
yeah,
all very rooted to their everything, but they were global citizens.
true.
And third, which profession guarantees you immediate success? That is my next question. Which
True.
profession?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You have to, you have to work hard in
Absolutely.
every profession.
Yeah,
Even the so-called AIs and ITs where but there are so many. There are few who come to the top, but there are so many who are still working at this level.
true. Yeah,
So,
that's,
so it is true of all professions. Every profession demands integrity,
mm,
honesty, dedication, depth,
mm,
sincerity,
mm,
and I'm using the word depth and
yeah,
honesty.
true, true.
And there are no shortcuts in any profession. Yeah, so you can take shortcuts. You'll be there like this, and then you come down next day. So my question to them always is, do you want to be the brilliant firecracker of Diwali? That burns and says, "Ah, wow, it dazzles you, but
And it
it
fizzles
just
out.
then fizzles out and it leaves behind acrid smoke."
Yeah,
Or do you be like the dhoop agarbatti of the temple, the incense in that it's burning slowly, spreading light around, but it's spreading fragrance. So
yeah.
I
Lingers
thought of
long after. Yes.
after. So whether you want to have spread fragrance within yourself and to the surrounding, or you want to be like the sparkle, choice is theirs.
Amazing. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for talking to us. Lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.